Hello everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. If you're one of my regular subscribers and you've been with me for a while, welcome back. And if you're new here, I want to welcome you as well. And I hope that you'll be inspired, find some information that will be helpful in your crafting journey. Today we're going to do a project, and I have been, as many of you know, I've been doing projects for my little craft fair that I have coming up in November. And I made this little post-it note box, and it has magnetic closure. You hear it pop. And it's just a really cute little way to have your post-it notes on your desk. And it actually holds 3 stacks of post-it notes, which I think is really, really cute. This would make such a cute gift for anyone. This was not the first one I made, but this is one that I made that I really love. And here it is done in the very vanilla, and this is a retired piece of paper because I can use my retired stuff for what I'm making up for my craft fair. But this, I believe, is also something that was retired, as well as this one. This is one I haven't finished yet, and I really haven't decided exactly what I want to put on top and how I want to do my closure. But we're going to make one today. And on today's, I'm going to show you how to construct your box and also how to decorate it. Now, I went ahead and chose, this is our Rustic Harvest. This is in the mini catalog, and there's quite a few of different patterns in here, but I think any of these will go well with our white. We've got some gray and white. You've got a bold pattern on one side and something a little smaller on the other side. And I thought that maybe this one might be cute. It's not exactly the same as the buffalo plaid, but it's similar. And we're going to do that today, but instead of doing our box black like I did this one, we're going to do it with our basic white thick. So I'm going to leave this sheet of paper out because I'm going to use that, so I'm going to stick it right there. And we're going to go ahead and construct our box. It's not very hard to make. It looks a little more complicated than it is. Like I said, you're going to need 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. We're going to start with our first piece, which is going to be our box itself, the basis of our box. And we're going to trim this down. And we need it to be on our 11-inch side. Put that into your trimmer and take it to 9 1/8. And if you don't like 8s, I'm sorry, this box does have 8s. So this ruler is actually broken up into 16ths. So with it being 16ths, it's the second mark on my ruler. Or an 1/8 would be halfway to a quarter. So if yours is broken down into 8s, it'll be the first mark on your ruler, or halfway in between your main mark of 1 inch or whatever, 9 inches to 9 1/4, so halfway in between that. So anyway, 9 1/8, and I'm just going to slice that end off, and then I'm going to rotate it, and this one is going to be at 7 5/8. So 7, and I'm going to count over 1, 2, 2/8 is a quarter, 3, 4/8 is a half, and 5/8 is where we need to be. So 7 5/8. And then we're just going to slice that little piece off. And now this is going to be the bases of our box, and I'm going to show you I'm going to have a template. I'm going to have a template that's going to show you how to cut out all your pieces so that when you finish, your piece is going to look like this. So I'll have this drawn out on the PDF so that you can actually see exactly where you need to cut and fold and what have you. But I keep this as my guide because it can be a little bit confusing, especially the first time that you make one of these. So I'm going to pull out my trusty scoreboard and put this in on the long side. That'll be your 9 1/8 inch mark, and we're going to do some scoring. We're going to score at 1 1/2. Now this is thick cardstock, so keep your stylus down low. Remember what I told you about that. If you keep it down lower to the paper, you have a less chance of it wanting to skid off of the mark. So 1 1/2, 3, 6 1/8, And I'm going over these twice because this is nice thick cardstock. And then 7 5/8. Now 5/8, 4/8 is a half, so one mark on the other side of that is 5/8. Now we're going to rotate it to the 7 5/8 is up at the top, and we're going to score in 3 places on this side. We're going to score at 1 1/2, 3, and 6 1/8. Yeah, 6 1/8. Okay, so we're going to take this piece, and if you look at it, if you see the one narrow piece back here and you've got 2 here, this is going to be the back of your box and this is the front. This is the base of your box. So if you look at this piece and you lay it on here like this, this is exactly the way your cuts would go. So what I suggest doing is make you a template out of some copy paper or whatever, and then when you lay this down, you can actually see exactly where you need to cut. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I know I'm turning that piece that way too, and I know that I need to cut all the way up to here, and that's going to be cut out totally. And then I need to cut all the way up to here and cut this one off, and then we're going to wedge and wedge. So let's grab our scissors, and we're going to make those cuts first. So all the way up, and I'm cutting the score line away, and then all the way up on this one. And then we know we want to cut this one completely away. And then we're going to cut this one away, just that one on the end, like that. And then we're going to wedge these out. See, I still got a little of the score line right there, but that's okay because we're going to wedge that out like that. And pull it. And then pull it. And there's our 1/10 around this way. Do the other side over here. So we're going to cut all the way up past till the second score line, and do the same thing here all the way up, and then we're going to cut this completely away. And I'll have this broken down on a PDF tutorial for you with pictures, so it will make it real easy for you to know exactly where to make these cuts. And then we'll cut that out. Then all we need to do now is wedge this, and then do the same thing over here, like that. And now we're going to turn it around this way, and this is our front and back. Our side pieces are going to be the same way, so we need to cut all the way up and cut this one completely away, and then we're going to angle cut this, and angle cut right here, and then we're going to turn it around this way, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut all the way up to that second score line, and cut this piece off, and then do our little angle cut here. And here. Now, when you lay this down over this, you should have the same thing, and I do. Now, we do need to angle a couple more places, and that's here and here, here and here, and here and here. The reason for that, you don't want that bulk when you're folding this in. This piece is here on each side and in the front is going to reinforce your box. So they're going to fold in on top of the box itself. So we're just going to angle out just a little tiny bit of that bulk like that, and do that on both sides. And let's go ahead and get rid of all of this scrappy stuff that we have in front of us. That's all going in my trash. Now, if you have little corner pieces like that that didn't quite clean up, you can go in and snip those with your snips, or just snip them with your fingers, whatever works for you. What we want to do now is I like to fold into the mountain. This is the valley. You turn it over and you have a raised up edge here. That's your mountain. And I like to fold to the mountain. So let me grab my bone folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crease every one of these score lines. Just give them a really good crease. And these go together so quick and so easy. It really is an easy project to make that looks like you really spent a lot of time on it. But I have a secret. There's hardly any time that goes into these. They come together really quick, and they're fun to make. And I love a project that goes together really easy and is fun to make. That's an extra bonus. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring these pieces up, our little tabs. You have 4 tabs. So let's put some adhesive on it. You can use whatever adhesive you like. For me, I'm going to use my liquid glue. And I'm just going to put a generous amount. And I'm going to bring this side up. And you want to do what we always do with boxes, and that's make sure that our edges are nice and together. You want those to be nice and even. And then I'm going to turn it over on this side. I like to take my bone folder and just kind of squish that glue down a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. A nice little amount of glue. And then I'm going to fold this one up and square everything up on that side. Just like that. I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to push it down with my bone folder to make sure everything is adhering. That one didn't come together quite where I wanted it. It's okay. That's the good thing about liquid glue. If you raise it up and it's not quite right, you got a minute, just a very quick minute, to rearrange it. So now we've got these last 2 tabs. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on both of these at the same time. I just thought these would make precious little gifts. We're always looking for that little special gift to give someone at Christmas that, just to say, hey, I was thinking about you. These would make great little gifts. Or if you're doing a craft fair, this would make a great craft fair item. But we're always looking for that little extra something of a gift to give to someone. These are perfect. So I'm going to fold this up like that. And I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to press that down with my bone folder. And if you notice what is happening, all of our inner workings, our tabs are all inside, because these pieces now are going to get glue on them, and they're going to fold in to the box like this. All right, so I'm going to bend this one back so I can get glue. I don't think I angled that one. No, I didn't. That might be why I was having difficulty with it. So I didn't angle it. We're going to do it right now. Just snip it down like that. Just make sure you do all 3 of those. It just makes it so much easier for it to go together if those edges have been angled out. And I just missed that one for some reason. All right, go ahead and put glue on it. Or like I said, you can use whichever adhesive you prefer. And then we're just going to fold this over and press it. Turn. Do the same thing here. Good amount of glue. You don't want oozing glue, but you want enough that you can press this down in here, and it's going to hold its position. So give that a good press, and then we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to press that in, just like that. And give it a press with our bone folder. Now there's our box. We have completed this part of it. Now you'll always know that the back is going to be the part that has not been reinforced. And there's a reason for that. We're going to reinforce that with our next piece of cardstock. So here's our other piece of 8.5 by 11. And we are going to cut this down to 8 1/8 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to put my 11-inch side in. You know what? We can actually do it this way. Let's do 8. Let's go ahead and do 8 and this is 8.5. So let's go to 8 and 1/8. Right there. And then we can just go ahead and cut this little piece off. And now we have this piece cut where we can just very easily cut 3.5-inch pieces off. So let me close that up. And 3.5. And now we need to score this in 2 places. And I'm going to bring my scoreboard back up just to keep everything cohesive. I could very easily do that on my trimmer, but I want to show you this way. In case you don't have that particular trimmer, you can do it on your scoreboard. So we're going to bring this and we're going to score in 2 places. We're going to score at 3 3/8. So again, there's 3, 1, 2, 3, 3/8. This scoreboard is broken down in 8ths rather than 16ths. So it's not the second one, but the first one that's an 1/8, 2/8, and then 3/8. Remember, 2/8 is a quarter, so that's our quarter. So 1 on the other side of the 1/4 is 3/8. So we're going to score there, and then we're going to score at 4 7/8. So that's right before the 5. Now that's all the scoring we do on this piece. Now we're going to need 2 more pieces that we need to cut that is going to reinforce our bottom and our top, because remember, this is a reinforced box. It's a nice, sturdy, heavy box to hold Post-it notes. And so this we need 3.5 by 3 1/4. And 3.5, which is this, by 3 3/8. So 3 and 1, 2, 3. And the 3 3/8 is for the bottom. So what I like to do is I like to take my pencil, and I did have a pencil here. I know I did. Underneath all of my mess, because I have been crafting up a storm. Here we go. Here's my pencil. And you know, I laid it down and forgot which way is which, because there's very little difference between the two, but it does make a difference when you're putting it together. So this is your 3 3/8. So your 3 3/8 side is your bottom, and this one is your top. I like to put a T and a B on it, just so that when I'm putting this together, I'll know which piece goes where. And I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and reinforce these. So I'm going to turn this over to the bottom and the top. And I think this is my top. That might be the bottom. Maybe this is the top. Yes, that's my top. So now what we need to do is just go ahead and put this on here. And you can do it under the bottom or you can do it on the top. It's totally up to you. It doesn't matter as long as that piece is reinforced. I'm going to do it inside. So I'm going to lay that in like that. And I'm going to put my liquid glue. I like using the liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to get this nice and straight, because this is going to meet up edge to edge. So I like to lay it in like this and then let my desk be my guide, because when I tap it against my desk, that's going to give me the perfect alignment. And then I'm just going to run my bone folder over top of it, just like that. And so nobody's going to see that B on there because we're going to be gluing the box on top of that. So nobody will see that. So now let's go ahead and reinforce our top. And that's going to get reinforced right about here. So let's turn that over. Let's put glue on this side. Just like this. Like I said, you don't want to be skimpy with your glue, but you don't want so much that it's oozing. That's why these little fine tip bottles are so nice. So I'm going to line that up. Do not let it go over your fold line, because if it does, you will not be able to close your box, and that will not be a good thing. So I'm just going to burnish that down really good. And now we can actually sit our box into our wrap. This piece right here is called the wrap. That's what it will be referred to in the directions. And then we can sit this on here just like that. Slide it to the back. Try to make sure you've got even amounts on both sides, because it makes it look like it's a little tray that it's sitting on. See how this one looks? It looks like a little tray. So once you get that on like that, you can go ahead and put glue on the bottom and the back portion of your box. So I'm going to just, and again, if you're using sticky tape, by all means, just make sure you're putting it on that back side and the bottom. So my back side, I know, is that piece that has not been reinforced. It's the flimsy piece. And what I want to do is set that down. I'm going to even it up, and then I'm going to push it back and bring that wrap up to it, just like that. All right, let's just put glue on it now. Yeah, I didn't put it on any of the other spots, so okay. So now we're just going to hold this up in place, bring it down, use your bone folder, and just rub that glue in so everything adheres really nice. Now, the reason I've been trying to do these in neutral colors is because when you're giving one of these as a gift, you want something that somebody can keep on their desk for all the seasons, not just Christmas, not just Thanksgiving or fall. You want it to be something that's very generic, I think would be the right word. So I'm going to set that over to the side, because now we need to cut our designer series paper to go over it. And to do that, I am going to grab my piece. This is non-directional, so it doesn't matter, but if you're working with a piece that has direction on it, make sure when you're cutting your top that your flowers, or like for example this was butterflies, I wouldn't want them to be going in sideways or upside down. You want to make sure that they're going in the direction that you want your paper to be, the direction of your box. But this one and this one is non-directional, so it doesn't matter. So what we need to do first is we need to cut. My widest measurement is 3 1/4, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut a strip at 3 1/4 and lay this over here. I'll just stick that back up there for right now. And we need to cut 3 strips that are going to be 3 inches by 1 3/8, but I'm going to leave them at the 3 1/4, and once I get all 3 of them cut, then I will cut we actually need 1 at 3, and so we're going to cut 4 that are 3 1/4 by 1 3/8, and then we're going to cut 3 of them back down to 3 inches. And let me show you what I mean. So we know this is 3 1/4 because that's what I cut it at. So 3 1/4 right there. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to cut 1 1 2 3/8. And 1 3/8. And I'm going to stack 3 of them separate from the other one, because I know these 3 are going to need to be cut off at 3. So 1 3/8. and 1 3/8. Okay, so these 3 right here need to be cut down to 3. So when you're cutting these, and the only reason I'm doing this is for the sake of saving paper, whenever you're cutting these, remember you're going to need 3 that are 3 inches by 1 3/8, and you're going to need 1 that's 3 1/4 by 1 3/8. So I'm just going to take these and cut them down to 3 inches, and this will easily cut 3 stacks of designer series paper with no problem. So those are my backs and my sides. So now I need to look at this, and I need a piece that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So we know we have the 3 1/4 this way, so we're going to cut it right here to 3 1/4. And this will be the cover for the top of our box. Now I am going to use a little strip like this of our basic white thick cardstock, and I'm going to use this as a closure. And I'm going to pull a die set called the Stylish Shape Dies, and I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this die. Let's use the bigger one, just to make sure we're getting, yeah, that, you know what, I think this one will work. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one will work. I think that'd be cute. I'm going to use that little banner die for my closure. You can see I used it on this one, and I really like the way it looked. I love the little pointed edge right there. But the way I made these with the magnets, you just lift the edge of the box and it automatically comes back down. So for my magnets, I'm using the basic gray magnet disc, and these are the small magnets. And I have not opened this pack yet, so let me grab scissors, and I'm going to cut across here like that. See if I can pull this away from the, maybe we can go up this way. I know they used to come apart fairly easy right here. There we go. When you take them out, they're actually in a little holder like that, which works really well. And that way you have a little piece of plastic that goes over top and helps hold them in. Now, the magnets, you're going to need a positive and a negative. So pull out a negative and then a positive. And the reason I say that, because they will hook together. We want the back side to the back side like that. So you want your adhesive to be showing. And let's lay these back over here. I'm going to get my die cut machine out, and we're going to go ahead and cut this because we do want to go ahead and install our magnets. So I'm going to cut this out first. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I could have brought my little mini in, but I'd have to go reach up and get it off my shelf behind me. This one I keep on my desk, right here by my desk all the time, because it is my favorite. I love, love, love this Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's just, unless you've used one, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. But this machine is so wonderful. So I'm just going to put my cover plate over, and we're going to crank that through. It doesn't matter that it's crooked because it's white. I'm not cutting out anything except just that banner, and we don't have anything stamped on it, so it didn't matter. It's going to be beautiful, just like that. So I'm going to lay that over to the side, and stick my plates back up here. Go ahead and get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out of our way. And now we are ready to go ahead and figure out where we're going to put our magnets. We want to install magnets before we start putting everything down on here, because once you put your designer series paper, once you start embellishing it, then you're going to run into problems. I didn't like it kind of flapping like that. I wanted a closure on mine. All right, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and start gluing in our designer paper. But on the front, that's where I want to make sure that I'm putting my magnet where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this in half. And I know that that's going to need to go right about there. So I'm thinking my magnet needs to go right here. So I'm going to make I want it to be in the middle. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to go up and make a little dot like that. And then I'm going to take the adhesive off of one piece of my magnet. Now they are together. I'm leaving them together for a reason. And I'm going to put that magnet down right like that. Now I'm going to take that top magnet off because I don't want that there right this minute. Lay it over to the side. I'm giving that a good squish so that I make sure that it is adhered very well. And then I am going to lay, oops, I got more than one piece of paper there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We are going to take our glue and put on the back. You know what, I really like that bigger plaid too. Maybe I'll do the bigger plaid. That'll be something different. Let's do that. You know, I'm always changing my mind, so let's try this. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on my little strips. These are my 3-inch pieces, 3 by 1 3/8. So what you're doing now, you're covering up your magnet. But that's okay. These are very strong little magnets, and a lot of the crafters sell these magnets in their little home shops. I just went on Amazon and ordered mine. I had checked several people, and they were sold out. So I decided to check out Amazon, and they had them. So I went ahead and ordered them. Okay, get that glued down really good. Just like that. And that's your first piece on. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to do the same thing over on this side. Now, if you wanted to do yours two-tone, you very well could do stripes or plaids and then do a floral on the top. You know, you can change it up and do it ever how you want to make your box. That's the one good thing about crafting is our creativity to make it ours, just by how we put our papers on and the way we decorate and design. So these are just such little cute little items to give away for gifts, especially with our holiday season fastly approaching. So I'm going to lay that one down right about there and give it a good smash like that. Now I'm going to turn the back. Now this is the piece that was 3 1/4 by 1 3/8. You can see it's a little bit wider because this was that wrap. So I'm going to go ahead and apply glue to it. And even it up. Make sure you're getting your same little borders on both sides and the top and the bottom. There we go. Now our last piece is for our top, and it goes like this, I think. No, maybe like that. Yeah, like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. turned my box. Let's see. Yep. All right, let's move that over so we're getting the same little amount side to side. Give that a good little press. And there is our box. I mean, it is already covered. It's made and covered. How cute is that? Now, we need to decide what we want to do with our, how we want to decorate the top of it. And I think, no, I don't really like that. I had a couple of things that I was thinking about doing, but I think I'm going to go back with my black cardstock and make my circles like I've been doing. So I'm going to grab a scrap, and this is just a scrap of basic black, and this is our little closure, so I'm going to lay that right there. And I think what I might do is I'm going to score that, since I did just hand bend it. I want it to have a nice little crease in it. And I'm going to take my, this is next to the largest scallop, and that's in the black, and I'm going to do the one that layers in like this, the regular circle die, and I'm going to cut that out of white. So I think I'm just going to do, I'm going to cut just a piece of white off of there and a piece of black off of here. And we're going to get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back out here. I'm just going to go ahead and do this front to back so it makes it a little bit quicker and easier. And we're just cutting 2 circles. It's not rocket science. So I'm just going to lay these in really quick. And now we have those cut. So let's just lift them up like so, and they're going to layer really pretty on top of our box. And I found this is a good, doing the circles on it, it's a good place to put a message, and it's also a good place to hide your little closure under. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. When you put this down like this, and you can very easily line these up. We're going to stamp a little message on top first, and see how easy that kind of hides under there, and it works out perfect. So let's get a sentiment stamp and decide what we want to put on our little piece here. I'll be right back. Alright, I found my charming sentiments, and the Faith Over Fear I think is gorgeous, and we're going to use that one on this one. So I am going to load this up on a stamp block. Oops. So load that up like that, and I'm going to get my Stampin' Pierce mat and lay this on it. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm using the photopolymer stamp, and I am going to grab, I'm going to get my VersaFine ink. I like this for my sentiments because it is so nice and dark. And I'm going to center that over top of that circle. Give it a good press. Very, very nice. And now this is ready to adhere on top of this, but I want to put dimensionals on it. I like to lay dimensionals down on a piece like this that needs just a little something. And here's my dimensionals. So I'm going to put maybe 4 or 5. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 in the middle. And then we'll just pull those off. And then we can put that right there, set that in right on top of it, like that. Now we can go ahead and glue this down where we want it. And how do we find out where we want it? Let's put our, I'm going to take my other magnet and I'm just going to drop it, and that's going to tell me where the magnet needs to go. So now when I put this on the top, I know that I need to catch that magnet right about there. Let's make sure that's the longest side. Yeah, it is. Probably should have come up just a hair on my magnet. That's okay. Yeah, that's going to work. We're going to poke that out just a little bit so it's sticking out. So when we peel this adhesive off of here, or the backer off of our adhesive, this little piece now should work. We're going to press it. So I'm going to undo that side and I'm just going to press with my fingers really good right here. I'm going to leave that hanging right there. I'm going to close the top down. Then I want to figure out where I'm going to put this. Something like that. About like that. So I'm just going to put liquid glue on the back of it, but before I do, I'm going to get some liquid glue right in here, and I'm going to bring this piece up and just set that in that glue. Let it catch. Then we're going to put glue on the back of this. Making sure I'm getting really good around my edges. And then faith over fear, and we're going to put that down right about there. Give that a good press. And I'm going to grab my sticky notes. We're going to open this up. Like that. Now if you don't want your magnet to show right here, you can very easily cover it with another piece of this and just run it from there to there. And our sticky notes fit in there just like that. We're going to do one embellishment, and that's going to be a dark dot. One of our basic, let's see if we can find our little black gems. There we go. These are the matte black dots, and that's going to look so cute as our little closure right over the top of it. And what we might even do is maybe put a couple of them. I'm going to get my take your pick tool, and I'm going to put one right here and a smaller one right here, and then one more of the small ones right there. And how stinking cute is that? So I'm going to pull the magnet up, and just give those a good press. And there we have a cute little gift for Christmas. And you can pick up these, the Post-it notes. I get mine on Amazon, but you can get them at the Dollar Tree or wherever and fill up a little box like that. And like I said, it only takes 3 of those. And how stinking cute is that for a gift? I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial. It was so much fun making these. I'm going to be making bunches of these in different colors and designing different sentiments on them for my craft fair. So if you live in my area, which is, I live in Gastonia, but the craft fair is going to be in Kings Mountain. I'll have more information on that. So if you would like to come by, if you're in my area, come by the craft fair. It's going to be November the 2nd at Second Baptist Church in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. So I hope I'll see you there. And if you do happen to be in the area and you come by for the craft fair, make sure to let me know that you heard about it on the YouTube channel. And I want to thank you so very much for tuning in again. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.